All right, ladies and gentlemen, Melina's super stunning. Oh my goodness. Now, guys, I'm so excited because Lourdes, Madonna's amazing daughter, is modeling again. So she's in the spotlight again. And she calls herself the Latin from Manhattan. So I'm like, oh my goodness, the Latin from Manhattan. What a clever name. What a clever name. I find that such a cute name. It's so refreshing. I don't know why. It's just a couple of words, a few words, the Latin from a phrase almost, but you're just like, oh my goodness, she's the Latin from Manhattan and she's Madonna's daughter. It's just amazing. I'm so happy for their family. Madonna's obviously been amazing for years and years and years and still is. Madonna is still number one in my opinion. But Lourdes is coming out with stuff soon. I'm hoping, I'm hoping. She is so pretty. She looks so good. So I'm really excited for their family. You know, it's nice for them to have that kind of thing with themselves. You know, they want to branch out and do different things. You know, Madonna's the revolutionary that she is. So we're all in awe of her daughter automatically. So we can't wait to see what she does. Um, it's just remarkable, guys. I don't know. I just find it so crazy that Madonna was so good for so many years, and she still is amazing. Madonna is amazing, and Madonna hasn't stopped. Madonna can do no wrong. She can do whatever she likes. She's gonna be famous for a long time still. Madonna's gonna do so many different things. We're gonna love Madonna. Madonna is fantastic. Um, so I can't wait to see what Madonna does. I mean, Madonna's gonna come up with something new soon, I'm sure. So I can't wait to see what Madonna does, and I'm looking very forward to it. And of course, you know, it's just kind of nice to see somebody in Hollywood with a normal kind of reputation, you know. Madonna was not like Michael Jackson. Madonna was much better, of course. I don't think, you know, Michael Jackson was necessarily as bad as they say, but the storylines that were on about him were just too much, you know, and like having a daughter, like obviously his daughter is beautiful and his son is good looking. Well, he's young still, but he looks adorable. And so they're very good family, but it's just like all the controversies we heard of him growing up, it was just too much, you know. And it's a Hollywood story, and he was never proven guilty. So I'm glad, and I think his kids felt well adjusted. I mean, I hope anyway. But they don't seem like there's anything wrong with them, you know. So I'm hoping that they are gifted as well. But yes, so I mean, obviously, I mean, as far as it goes, I'm the type of person that would lean towards Michael Jackson being a good dad, being very good with women or men. I'm not sure what he dated, but he'd be very good with either one. I guess he dated women because said he dated women, but who knows? So I'm more than happy to be like supportive of that. I just found, you know, the storylines were too much. You know, it's just like, and he was such a major talent and everything, you know. But it's just like, you know, I mean, if you're gonna put stories out like that, really, you know, you're affecting people. You know, you're a star. Not that you're affecting people. You shouldn't. It wouldn't have any effect on people really. But I mean, some people look up to him and think he's amazing. So they didn't want to hear that story, you know. And if it wasn't true, then why are we being told all this stuff, you know? Michael Jackson was just a person that had a lot of plastic surgery, so maybe he wasn't mentally, there wasn't anything mentally wrong with him other than his body dysmorphic disorder, which is obviously a serious thing. But obviously, he raised three great kids, so I mean, you can't just do that and be as what they called him, you know. I mean, I just found it to be very insane. You know, you're just like, hey, you know, I find it like I find, and of course, like having sleepovers with children, obviously that's strange. But I mean, maybe he felt that that was normal. I don't know, but I mean, I still think he wasn't guilty. I'm hoping anyway. I don't think he was. I mean, obviously he must have not been because why would his kid be famous and his sister and all that? And he was super famous, you know, but I mean, people did come forward and stuff like that. But anybody can accuse a rich person or a celebrity of things because they always want, a lot of people want their money or whatever, so they just make false accusations. But you just think, you know, like no normal adult does that, right? I don't know any adult that sleeps with a bunch of children in a big huge mansion. I don't know any adult that does that, but I mean, who knows? Maybe he was like all for it and he was normal. But the thing is, the whole controversy was just too much, you know? Like it was like, and his poor daughter, you know, when she was growing up, she's like, my dad died, and all the stories that she's ever heard about him, everything that's ever come out about him, you know, obviously that's tragic, you know, having a daughter and she's involved in, she's not involved, but she's hearing all these stories. You know, it's like, you know, why would you want your children to hear about all this? Just don't do it, right? Anyway, I'm more than happy to believe Michael Jackson was innocent because I'm just that kind of person. I give people the benefit of the doubt. Unless they're proven guilty, I'm not going to think they're guilty, but I mean, it does seem kind of strange. And the fact that it was all around the news and everything, like poor Michael Jackson, his life must have been total hell, but who knows what how he actually lived, right? I mean, for the last while, he was indoors all the time and didn't do anything. He just didn't leave the house, and you're just like, hey, you know, like that's just crazy. Why would you not leave the house? I know you have a big house and all, but why would you not leave the house? And of course, he lost his nose, so that has a big factor in it. I mean, it was just a ridiculous scenario altogether. You know, and I mean, I feel for the family, you know. I love Janet Jackson, of course, 'cause I love women like that. But I mean, like, Janet Jackson was, you know, the only, like, well, there's other normal ones in the family, but you're just like, Janet Jackson was great, but it's like, I don't know. And you're just like, you know, they're larger than life, right? Because they are kind of like big, huge personas and all that. But you're just like, if you were to hear these same stories talked about by someone or reported about people and they were not the Jacksons, you would be like, that person is totally bizarre, that person is totally strange. I'm not going to give that person the benefit of the doubt, but because it was the Jackson family, you gave them the benefit of the doubt, which of course is fine. If he was innocent, that's fine, but you're just like, hey, you know, like, anyway, this is a bit controversial. I don't know if this should be saying all this, but I just find, you know, like, I mean, why would you have all these stories circulating about you, you know? Like looking back now, you see Michael Jackson, you hear about Michael Jackson, and of course, I love Michael Jackson's music, don't get me wrong. He's amazing, he's super talented, and his look was original, right? Like, even though he got a lot of plastic surgery, no one looked like him. So you're just like, hey, that's kind of cool. And I love his music. Like it's really, really good. Thriller will never die with me. Like, well, Thriller will always live on with me. I mean, Thriller will be so amazing. I love Thriller. Thriller is so good. I love Thriller. But and I love a lot of his music. But I just find like when you look back at the stories, you're just like, hey, like that's not normal stories about a celebrity. Like who would want? I guess R. Kelly's in the same boat and stuff like that. R. Kelly's dealing with the same situation, and you're just like, hey, you know, you're just like, hey, you know, that's kind of strange, but well, with R. Kelly, it was a lot. Like it was terrible. It was proven guilty, so he was proven guilty. So that was awful. You know, that's horrible. I'm sure he's gonna die in jail. I don't know if anyone's gonna keep him alive. I really doubt people are gonna care about him really. You know, he did some horrible things, and of course, even R. Kelly's music was so good. I found R. Kelly's music was really good, but of course, he was actually guilty with kidnapping and all these things, and that's just terrible, really bad. So you're just like, hey, you know, I just find it so odd when celebrities go through all these things because you're like, they have everything they want. Like, R. Kelly performed with Lady Gaga. Like, who performs with Lady Gaga? Nobody, right? So you're just like, take your blessings and use them for good, right, guys? Okay, thank you all for watching. Bye now. Thank you all.